Get your 5 Live podcasts from the 5 Live website, including 5 Live Drive.
bbc.co.uk/5live.
Hi, this is Pete Allen with 5 Live Drive's Story of the Day. Tiger Woods has been speaking to the press for the first time since admitting to transgressions that let his family down. He called the press to Ponte Vedra Beach in Florida to make this statement.
Many of you have cheered for me, or you worked with me, or you supported me. Now, every one of you has good reason to be critical of me. I want to say to each of you, simply and directly, I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Tiger Woods' withdrawal from public life began after an incident on the 27th of November. You'll remember that his car crashed into a fire hydrant just outside his home in Florida. Today he wanted to clear up suggestions that his wife had done anything wrong.
Some people have speculated that Elin somehow hurt or attacked me on Thanksgiving night. It angers me that people would fabricate a story like that. Elin never hit me that night or any other night. There has never been an episode of domestic violence in our marriage, ever. Elin has shown enormous grace and poise throughout this ordeal. Elin deserves praise, not blame. The issue involved here was my repeated irresponsible behavior. I was unfaithful. I had affairs. I cheated. What I did is not acceptable, and I am the only person to blame.
The speech touched on his Buddhist faith, his frustration at the way the press pursued his family, the therapy he'd received since the end of December. He said he'd return to golf one day, but didn't know when, and he said he would continue to receive help.
Starting tomorrow, I will leave for more treatment and more therapy. I would like to thank my friends at Accenture and the players in the field this week for understanding why I'm making these remarks today. In therapy, I've learned the importance of looking at my spiritual life and keeping in balance with my professional life. I need to regain my balance and be centered so I can save the things that are most important to me, my marriage and my children.
Tiger Woods. So it was really partly PR, partly personal, and we're going to try and cover both those angles. First with Phil Hall, is a PR consultant, former editor of the News of the World, who would talk about the way this will be treated by the media and indeed the way it's being done, but also to Bernard Gallagher, who is a former Ryder Cup captain. And really I'm more interested in the personal side of it with you, Bernard. What did you make of that? How did you react to what you saw?
Well, Peter, I really saw a broken man there, very remorseful and obviously very sorry and trying to start again. And yeah, I mean, he's got a lot to do. His wife was missing. I think that was...
his mother was there, wasn't she?
His wife wasn't there, so obviously he's still got to work hard to get that back, the trust there.
You think he's been shattered by it personally, though? You don't think that was all fabricated? You think it's really broken him? Oh
yeah. This is a different Tiger Woods there, Peter, that I saw on television. He almost looked like he was sedated. He didn't look like the confident Tiger Woods at all. He was very humbled. He's obviously done wrong here. I mean, he obviously feels bad. And I think he suddenly realised that he's put his whole wife and his kids in jeopardy here with his extramarital affairs. We don't know still what's going to come out yet. Other things might come out, but he's actually prioritised his marriage as opposed to getting back into golf, and I think that's important. I think people will welcome that and they'll give him a chance.
Yeah, it was an interesting part of the speech when he said he thought himself, I could get away with anything. I felt I was entitled. I convinced myself the normal rules did not apply to me. It's I don't know if that was written for him or came from the heart, but it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he's definitely been let down by a lot of people close to him. I mean, he's obviously, although we see this line of a guy on the golf course winning all these majors, beating everybody to death on the golf course, he's obviously been a very vulnerable young man off the golf course, and he's really needed sound advice, sound help, and which it wasn't there. And I just don't know if it's the same people round about him. But I mean, in the light of day, you should really think about having a look round and see who's round about him and try and get real help and real advice and things like that, and seek advice from people like Tom Watson and Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer and Gary Player, great players who have won major tournaments, been idolised by the public, and still are very strong family men.
And kept their balance, as he said. Balance was the word, isn't it?
Balance, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed for that. Phil Hall, I mean, you could treat it on with several hats on, really. From a PR point of view, did they get it right, the people around him, do you think?
I think they did. I think people would say that it was very media managed, but this is a guy who's been media trained since he was 18 years old, and to somehow now expect him to fumble through it because it would be more convincing, I just think that's unrealistic. I think clearly, of course, again, somebody as big as Tiger Woods is going to have a speech with help around him to help write that. But I think he spoke from the heart, and I agree with Bernard. He looked a broken man to me, and I think we're going to overanalyze it. If he had cried, people would have been saying that was, these tears are too late. If he'd been stronger, they'd have said he didn't care. I mean, there's no perfect situation, but I think he did what he had to do in the circumstances.
I know that you've been involved with John Terry and trying to help him handle press issues. To some extent, there are similarities, I guess, that you can't really discuss a lot of the stuff that's going on. I mean, standing up and talking about it is not going to help you and not going to help anybody.
I don't think so. I think, people to try... I mean, John Terry, I think, is a very different situation. He didn't let the fans down in any way, shape or form. I mean, he's carried on playing at the very, very highest level. The difference with Tiger was, he had to pull away from golf, and he had to, let down tournament sponsors and people around him in a major way. So it's a very different situation. But I do think it's not just about the apology. It's about what he does going forward, and it's about his behaviour now on the golf course. He never signed autographs for kids when he left the course. He was always, throwing the clubs around when he played a bad shot.
Times I've seen him,
he lost the tournament.
Yeah, times I've seen him, he was completely shielded from all sort of human contact at all. I mean, I think the big question is just as another individual watching, did you believe him? Did you believe he meant any of it?
Peter, I did actually. I think if you have humanity, you'll believe in him. If you want to be cynical and overanalyze it, you'll never believe in anything or anyone. And I think this is a man who's been to absolutely the edge, and he's trying to come back. And people have said he should have apologized at the time. And I've been in these situations with major celebrities, and I can tell you honestly, first thing they do is they're in denial. They don't admit these things. Secondly, their life spirals into a complete turmoil, and to then start talking about making public apologies and craft a speech, it's not even in their psyche. It's not what they're thinking about. They finally wake up and start thinking about the people around them. And I don't believe his wife would have wanted him going out there and talking about his marital infidelities in public. And people in the media are going to say, well, he should have had 100 press there. But so you can ask what he did with the girl in Las Vegas. That would have humiliated her further. The children have seen that when they grow up and watch back at what their dad did. I just don't think that's necessary. I think he needs to face his demons in private now and come back the golfer that we all know he is.
Thanks for downloading from the BBC. To find other downloads or more information, go online.
bbc.co.uk/5live